Alex, I am so thrilled to be doing this interview with you. At the result,
She gave away her racket. And what happened next shocked the entire tennis world, ladies and gentlemen. Tennis fans across the globe, this is not just another match recap. This is not about aces rankings or breakpoints. This is about a single moment that turned into one of the most unbelievable stories the sport has ever witnessed. Because what happened to Alexandra Eala wasn't just heartwarming, it was life-changing. And it all started with one simple gesture, a sweaty match-used tennis racket. Let's rewind. The Middle East swing is no joke. The heat is relentless. The air is dry. The competition is brutal. Over the past few weeks, Eala had been grinding through tough matches in the region, including stops near Abu Dhabi and Doha. The results weren't perfect. There were flashes of brilliance, but also early exits. Close losses. Heavy expectations. And that's the thing about Alex, she's not just another rising star. She carries a nation. Every time she steps on court, millions of Filipinos watch, hoping, praying, believing. She's more than a player. She's a symbol. And when she loses, it hurts deeper than the scoreboard shows. Why the time she walked onto the court for a high-profile exhibition event in the Middle East, an event filled with royalty, billionaires, and global sponsors, she looked focused but exhausted. The critics had grown louder. Can she crack the top 50? Is she ready for the elite level? Is the hype fading? But Alex didn't answer with words. She let her racket speak. The match itself was electric. Long rallies. Explosive forehands. Defensive brilliance. The kind of tennis that keeps you leaning forward in your seat. But the most important moment of the night had nothing to do with the score. It was happening in the front row. Inside the VIP section, surrounded by security, sat the young daughter of billionaire businessman Khalid Al-Rashid. He's known for extreme privacy, rare public appearances, and enormous influence in international business circles. But that night, he wasn't the headline. His daughter was. Witnesses say she wasn't cheering for the world number one. She wasn't chanting for established legends. She was waving a small Filipino flag, cheering only for Alex. Every point Alex won, the little girl jumped to her feet. Every mistake, she looked crushed. She wasn't watching casually. She was invested. When the match ended, the applause echoed politely around the venue. Cameras flashed. Sponsors smiled. VIP guests began shifting in their seats. Most players in that situation would sign a few oversized tennis balls, wave to the crowd, and disappear into the locker room. But Alex stopped. She looked toward the VIP section. And something changed. Security personnel later revealed she made eye contact with a young girl who had tears in her eyes. Alex walked toward the barrier. The security guard stiffened. Approaching the family of a billionaire isn't something players casually do. But Khalid Al-Rashid raised his hand, signaling them to relax. He wanted to see what would happen. Alex leaned in and smiled. The little girl was frozen, completely starstruck. And then Alex did something no one expected. She reached into her bag. Not for a towel. Not for a wristband. Not for a generic autograph card. She pulled out her match-used racket. For non-players, that might sound small. But in tennis, a racket is sacred. It's customized down to the gram. The string tension is precise. The grip is molded to the player's hand. It's not just equipment, it's an extension of the athlete. Players don't just give those away. But Alex did. She handed it over the railing and said softly, "This is for you. Keep dreaming." The stadium gasped. The girl burst into tears, clutching the racket like it was treasure, and Khalid Al-Rashid stood up. He didn't say a word, he simply watched. What happened next is what stunned the world. Within hours, social media exploded. Photos of the moment went viral. The clip spread across tennis pages, sports blogs, and international news outlets. But then came the statement, an official release from Khalid Al-Rashid's office. In it, he praised Alexandra Eala's humility, sportsmanship, and the kind of character that defines true champions. Then came the bombshell: his investment group would be entering into a long-term global partnership with her team. Insiders began whispering numbers that sounded unreal. Multi-year .8 figures annually performance. Bonuses. Global branding rights. Some reports suggested the deal could be worth over $50 million across its duration. All because of a gesture. All because she chose kindness when no cameras demanded it. But here's why this story matters. This wasn't calculated. It wasn't staged. There was no PR team guiding her hand. Alex didn't know it was the girl's birthday week. She didn't know who her father was at that moment. She didn't know the world was about to change. She simply saw a fan. And she acted from the heart. In a sport increasingly driven by branding, contracts, and performance metrics. This moment reminded everyone why fans fall in love with athletes in the first place, that it's not just about trophies, that it's about humanity. For Alexandra Eala, this could mark a turning point. The financial security. the expanded global platform. The backing of powerful investors, IT could accelerate her climb up the rankings. It could fund world-class training, recovery teams, analytics, and scheduling freedom. But more than that, it proved something powerful. Character compounds. Kindness echoes. And sometimes, when you least expect it, the universe answers generosity with abundance. From grinding through tough Middle East tournaments to walking away with one of the most talked about partnerships in recent tennis memory, this chapter of Alex's journey feels almost cinematic. And yet, at its core, it's beautifully simple. A young girl with a flag. A tired athlete with a good heart. One racket. One moment. And a ripple effect that shook the sport. In a world obsessed with winning, Alexandra Eala reminded us that sometimes the biggest victories happen after the final point. And this one might just build an empire. He didn't clap. He didn't make a speech. He didn't call the media. He simply nodded a slow, deep, respectful nod toward Alexandra Eala. And Alex? She nodded back politely and walked away. In her mind, it was over. She had just made a little girl's day. That was it. No cameras needed. No headlines required. Just a quiet moment between an athlete and a fan. What she didn't realize was that she had just planted a seed. And that seed was about to grow into something massive. For a few hours, nothing dramatic happened. Social media buzzed lightly. A few clips circulated. So sweet. What a classy gesture. This is why we love her. Then the algorithm moved on. Or so everyone thought. Behind palace walls, however, conversations were unfolding. Inside the residence of billionaire businessman Khalid al-Rashid, the atmosphere was different. According to sources close to the family, the moment with the racket wasn't just heartwarming, it was deeply personal. The young girl hadn't stopped smiling. She hadn't put the racket down. But it wasn't just the object that moved her father. It was the way Alex gave it no hesitation and no performance and no expectation. In a sporting world often dominated by ego, endorsements, and carefully scripted appearances, here was a young athlete giving away one of her most personal tools of the trade. Her match used racket simply because she saw joy in a child's eyes. A family insider reportedly said it wasn't about the racket. It was about the connection. He saw authenticity. He saw humility. He saw someone who values people more than possessions. That night, discussions began. Not about a thank you card. Not about a photo opportunity. About something far bigger. While those conversations were taking place, Alex was back at her hotel. Tired. Quiet. Processing another long week on tour. Maybe she was scrolling through messages from family in the Philippines. Maybe she was replaying points in her mind. Maybe she was just trying to decompress from the emotional grind of international competition. She had no idea that decisions were being made that would change her life. Then came the convoy. Not a simple courier, a formal delegation. Breaking news hit the wires almost immediately after the official statement was released from Khalid al-Rashid's office. And the wording, it stunned everyone. Today my daughter received a gift she will treasure for the rest of her life. But more importantly, she received a lesson in generosity from Alexandra Eala. In a world often driven by transaction, Miss Eala demonstrated the power of pure connection. The statement could have ended there. It would have been beautiful. But it didn't stop. To honor this spirit and to support a young athlete who represents the future of this sport with such grace, I am honored to announce an exclusive long-term partnership. My organization will officially sponsor Alexandra Eala's career moving forward. That's when the tennis world froze. Because this wasn't a sleeve patched. It wasn't free apparel. It wasn't a one-off exhibition appearance. This was, according to financial analysts, a mega deal. Reports suggest the value could reach tens of millions of US dollars per year across a multi-year commitment. Let that sink in. Per year. What does a partnership of that magnitude reportedly include? Full elite coaching support. Access to some of the best tactical minds in the sport. Private high-performance training facilities in both the Middle East and Europe. Complete travel backing including private jet access to reduce fatigue between tournaments. Top-tier physiotherapists, sports psychologists, nutritionists, and recovery specialists. Premium equipment support and customization resources. Strategic tournament placement and regional wildcard facilitation. In simple terms, resources typically reserved for global icons. The kind of backing once associated with names like Roger Federer and Serena Williams. And now handed to a rising Filipino star who hasn't yet lifted a Grand Slam trophy. Why? Because she won something else. She won a heart. According to multiple reports, Alex was in her hotel lobby when the delegation arrived. No dramatic entrance. No flashing lights. Just a formal presentation. She opened the folder. She scanned the pages, and then she saw the numbers. Witnesses say her hands began to shake. She wasn't smiling wildly. She wasn't celebrating. She was overwhelmed. A circulating clip shows her covering her mouth, tears streaming down her face as she holds the letter. Through tears, she reportedly said, "I just wanted to make her smile. I didn't expect this. I've never experienced anything like this. Thank you so much." That it wasn't greed, it wasn't shock at wealth, that it was relief. Relief that the grind might get lighter. Relief that her sacrifices and her family's sacrifices were seen. Relief that the road ahead suddenly looked less lonely. Why is this deal so significant? Because tennis is brutally expensive. Flights,
coaching, hotels, recovery, entry fees,
equipment. For players outside traditional tennis powerhouses, the financial burden can be crushing. For Southeast Asian athletes especially, the journey often requires extraordinary personal investment. Many talented players fade away not because they lack skill but because they run out of money. This partnership changes everything. Alex is now financially unburdened. She can focus entirely on development. She can hire strategic analysts to dissect opponents. She can optimize scheduling instead of chasing smaller tournaments for prize money. She can invest fully in her body, her training, and her longevity. This doesn't guarantee a top 10 breakthrough, but it levels the playing field. It gives the underdog from the Philippines the resources of a titan. Inside locker rooms, reactions are reportedly mixed. Some stunned, some inspired. Maybe a few quietly envious, but most understand what this moment represents. It sends a powerful message: character counts. Kindness compounds. Being genuine still matters. Khalid Al-Rashid didn't just invest in a forehand, he invested in an ambassador. He reportedly sees Alex as a bridge connecting Asia and the Middle East, representing a new wave of global tennis. Stars who reflect humility, cultural pride, and modern international identity. And in that vision, he sees long-term value. Here at Champions Tennis, we've followed Alex since her junior breakthroughs. We watched her capture the junior title at the US Open. We watched her grind through ITF circuits, battling for ranking points. We saw flashes of brilliance long before mainstream headlines caught on. The talent was always there. But so was something else. That X factor. That warmth, that humility. The ability to connect. And now, that very quality has altered the trajectory of her career. This story feels like a fairy tale. But it's real. That it's a reminder that in elite sport where transactions dominate headlines, human moments still carry power. You never know who is watching. You never know when a simple act, signing a ball, sharing a smile, gifting a racket, will ripple outward beyond imagination. Khalid Al-Rashid empowered a young woman to chase greatness without limits. And to his daughter, happy birthday. You didn't just receive a racket. You sparked a legacy. Now the question shifts to the future. Is this the turning point? With world-class resources behind her, can Alexandra Eala break into the top 10? Will we see her lifting major trophies sooner than expected? Momentum in sport is fragile. But belief? Belief just skyrocketed. And sometimes that changes everything. What do you think? Is this the chapter that transforms promise into dominance? Drop your thoughts below. Because one thing is certain: from the court to the palace to the global stage, this has been a day tennis will never forget. And if this story proves anything, it's this: stay humble, stay kind, keep working. You never know what miracle is quietly building behind the scenes. Champions Tennis signing off.